As part of my process to deliver this project to a client, what I always do is to use a source control, the fact which I didn't use here. Now I use for proof of concept, every time when I start a project I use a source control. For this step I have skipped, so I find this very important. So that's why I'm gonna initialize the Git repository. And let's add a screenshot. To be honest, I'm gonna add everything okay, I'm gonna just uncheck the settings and the config file. So I'll say add initial project, and let's say this one works because I have made a dry run. So this version that works. Great. So I'm gonna hit commit. As part of this, I'm gonna improve the process with the login. And doesn't matter if this process will run in the orchestrator or not, I always add logging because it's the only way how I can know what is the behavior of the robot. So this is what I'll do. I'm gonna just start with every component which I have here. So for instance, this is the ensure video is playing, which is called when the video begins, that is calling the big YouTube, the play button. And because this one is confusing, I have used copy paste. I have two options. I can either change the informative screenshot, and I'm going to remove this. It's very misleading because it's referring to the skip ad button. I'm going to remove, I'm going to hit save, and then I'm going to add here a log message. And because this is not so important, I decided to use the trace. So I'm going to say start playing the video. Okay, and I'm gonna put here near the click button. Great, so I will go here to the main. Actually, going back to ensure video is playing, sometimes I use the log not here, but here to the drop activity. Now here it's not the case, or at least I don't figure out now a case, because I'm only interested when I'm playing the video. However, I could eventually add here in the else. So I can go in this direction to add a log. The video is already playing. So I'll say the video is already playing, or unable to find the play button. And because I'll do that, I'm going to change from the trace to info, because this is an action which is performed by our robot. Going back to the main, as the first step, it's ensure the video is playing, then it's assigning the date, and I'm gonna put the log message here. I'm gonna change the message from waiting to something else, which will be more intuitive, waiting the video to finish, right? Because this is what we are waiting for. So I'll say waiting the video to end, hit a save, and go to the next one, try skip commercial. Here I'll do the same trick. I'm going to add the log message. When the commercial, it will be skipped. This is a very important step for me. So I'm going to use an info and not a trace. And as a message, something related to skip ad would be very helpful. So skip ad or has been performed. Now the message that you're writing here, it has two directions. You can either refer to the action or to the behavior. That's the action skip ad button has been performed. However, when you're seeing the log for the robot, you don't know what it means skip ad has been performed. And you can see there are two types of messages. This is referring to the behavior, start playing the video. The video is not already playing, it's a state for the robot. And here there is an action. Now, I suggest to decide the type of the action that you do. For instance, I personally use for tracing, only I use an action method. Something has happened or something has happened. But in case of the info, warning, and error, for instance, info, it's a state. And I prefer to use another type of message, not exactly like I said here. And because I'm pressing the skip button, I'll say commercial has been skipped, or something related to that. I'll say commercial has been skipped, or I can drop another activity here, but this one definitely I will set as a trace because this is not so important. And traces, I will refer to the action. So I'll say skip add button has not been found. And hit a save. The other component which I have is the wait video to finish. Now here I have a do while, and referring to this do while, I could potentially add another log message here. Now if I would do that, for instance, for a video clip which is 1 hour, I'll have a bunch of log messages of traces, and it will make our tracing even harder. And because this is not so important, I'm just gonna skip this step, so I'll not add any behavior from here. However, I may choose to check again for logging, because if I figure out here, when the get current time it's executing, it has a timeout behavior, and between this and this, I'll not know the status of the robot. So what I'll do, I'm gonna check again the timeout, and as you can see, this has a default timeout which is 30 seconds. Now, I would like to decrease this timeout, maybe 5 seconds or even less. So let's change this to 5 seconds, or actually even less. Let's put 2 seconds. The wait status is completed. And this is my improvement for the robot. Up to this point, I don't figure out anything by heart rather than executing this. So this is what I'll do. I'm just gonna run the current file. Okay, make it visible. Now I can see that this has appeared. So this is the drop-down menu. And this is probably related to start playing the video. As you can see here, I have a start playing the video. And then commercial has been skipped. Start playing the video, it means that this button from here, the selector from here, is probably causing the other behavior. Let's close because I have 2 Chrome browsers. Now, how can I check? Just by executing this ensure video is playing, I can definitely check this behavior. So I'm gonna just stop, go to design, run file. I have already a video which is attached. And as you can see, the play button is here, this middle. By the way, this is another advantage why I prefer to use splitting, because I can easily test the robot. Now, I can choose to comment this because this is behavior which I don't see for now, or I can easily fix this selector. Now, in order to fix this selector, I need to reproduce the play button, the big one, which I had previously, where unfortunately, it will take me some time to reproduce. So, because I don't want to keep the time spending in that, I have identified the error, which is exactly what I'm interested in. I will just go and disable the activity, close here, and let's see if we do see another behavior. So again, run file, and put here. Now this is an incremental step. You will definitely not fix from the starting point. So commercial has been skipped. Okay, I'm just waiting the video. Let's fast forward, I think, or maybe let's change the video. Let's try to play a bit with the robot. Commercial has been skipped. Probably we need to handle the case for skipping the video because this timeline, this duration is changing, and this behavior we need to change, because it's getting the total amount, and then it's waiting in the do while. Now what I can do, for instance, to improve this wait video finish, because I don't know what's happening rather than debugging the file. However, to a client, you cannot do debugging of the file. You need to put on your local machine. So what I do here, I prefer to use a logging, but before to wait, I can put a login. What's the amount of time which I need to wait? And after I'll exit, just before to click, I'll say, I don't know, I have waited that amount of time. Now, before to show you that, I want to give another commit. So I'm gonna say improve the robot selectors plus waiting, and hit commit. Now let's go to the next part where I'm gonna improve the video until finish.